let's continue where we left off. So we see here that we have just finished calculating some totals. In column F, we calculated some totals in row 12 to see what the total points accumulated for each test was. Reminder that that is probably an unnecessary thing, but we're practicing. And then we want to find out what was the average score of all my students in rows 4 through 11. And for the first test, the average score was 79.5. And we know that by looking in the formula bar. It's telling, we're telling the spreadsheet that we'd like to calculate a formula that begins with equals, otherwise it doesn't know we want to do math, equals average of B4 through B11. We were able to copy that across. We did try doing the calculation a couple different ways. We could do this by, I'll do it again. We can just type equals A and see if we can find the word average. If I put AV, there it is. If I double click, it will allow me then to select the cells. I don't have to type it all up. I want to find the average of all my students and close that and enter. I'll do it again here. And once again, I will use the auto sum option because this is something that is commonly used. So I'm going to go to auto sum and select average. And as you can see, this formula is incorrect. A couple of ways to remedy that, but the easiest is in this case probably to change the E12 to E11. We don't want to include the total in that. I can also redrag my mouse over the correct cells. Once again, not having to type. Less typing, chance for better accuracy, as long as my data is correct and I know what math calculation needs to take place. So I'm going to hit enter. In my next cell in B14, I want to find the maximum. Who got the top grade? Well, it's pretty clear. I think I can see that Cameron did. 90 points. Let's assume I've got a regular class of approximately 30 students. What if you had a large college course? Some of our largest courses have over 300 students in them in your core classes in college. So, you know, I don't want to sit and look for that. There is a math formula for that. So it is a math function, and we can click our f of x equals, and I know it, what I'm trying to find is a maximum. So let's go ahead and I'll just have my whole list here, and I'm going to hit an M to get me to maximum. And I don't see the word maximum, but I do see the word max. If I click on any of these math formulas, it'll explain to me. That'll help me make my decision. Returns the largest value in a set of values. Ignores logical values and text. So I'm going to say, yes, I want to find the largest value in a set of values. So I'm going to click OK. And right now it says you want to find the largest value in B13. No, that is not what I want. So when you're using the function argument box, I'm going to collapse this window because B13 is incorrect. And when I collapse that, it lets me isolate what I want to have happen here. And what I want to have happen is to find what the maximum or largest number is in cells B4 through B11. And I can do that with using my mouse. Notice it pops into the function argument box. I uncollapse it by hitting the collapse button. It shows me the formula. It shows me the numbers involved in that calculation, and it shows me the average. To the best of my knowledge, that's the math formula I want. So equals 90. We can also go to equals. We can create our own. Remember, when we're creating our own, we are actually typing in the formula equals max, because now I know the word is max. I'm going to use a parenthesis, always wiser. Select the cells I want in there, close it up, enter. I can do equals M. This is going to take me to insert function. It's another way to get there. It's the max that I want. And I'm going to again select my cells. D4 to D11. And it's correct. And enter. And I've got that correct. I'm going to place it here, look at the formula, maximum of E4 to E11. Same thing for minimum, equals. I can do the M. Minimum is going to be M, min. Again, even in this format, it tells me it returns the smallest number as set of values. That's what I want. Double click. Use my mouse. Close it up. Enter. It is critical that I understand what I'm trying to discover when it comes to the calculation. So I'm going to erase some of this. This program is pretty intuitive. I have done, well, let's look. I've done the sum in this cell, in cell B12. I have found the sum. In B13, I have found the average. I'm looking in my formula bar. With a single click, I can see that I've got the maximum of B4 to B11, and I've got the minimum of B4 to B11 in 15. I have 4 different math calculations going on. I'm going to select all of those. Open crosshairs, select them all. I know I've done my math correctly as long as my data is correct. I get my skinny crosshairs on the fill handle and fill across. And in any one of these, I can see that I have the correct formula. I'm going to go ahead over here in G, and that is G3. I'm going to write the word average there so we can practice again. So I've got the average points for each test, what the score was, the average score for each test, but now what about each student? How would we do that? We want to find the average for Felicia. We do not, in order to do that, all I have to do is add up her scores in B4 through E4 and divide it by 4, and you'll have the average. Using the average command allows you, so I'll do it up in the formula bar. You'll notice it takes place right in the cell, equals average, and I'm going to use my parenthesis. I'm doing this one all by hand, and I'm going to select the cells I want in there and close it up and hit enter. Equals, if I do the A, I like this way. A doesn't give me average right away. AV, there's average. Click on there, it says returns the average or arithmetic mean of its arguments, which can be numbers or names, arrays, or references that contain numbers. So this is a great way to do it. That's what I want. And it's waiting to see what cells I want in there. Those are the cells. Close it up. If we do use the auto sum button and choose average, it's going to assume some things that might be wrong. Although now I've got the formula all set, wrong cells. So even though the cells are wrong, I can make that correction very easily by taking my mouse and holding the left button, selecting the correct cells. Once I know I have the correct answer, just select the cell I want to copy the formula from, and I've copied my formula. You will be asked to do some calculations that do not involve a formula that's readily available or a math function that's readily available. You have to create your own formula. So one of the things you're going to deal with is percentages. How do I calculate a percentage of something? And so if you can do the math by hand or on your calculator, it can be done in Excel, and you will usually only need to calculate it once, and then from that point you're able to copy that formula to other cells. So if I want to know what a 10% increase looks like in the total points on row 12. So our total points is 636. What would an increase look like? There's a couple of ways to calculate that. Well, we always start with an equal. And one way is to take and add equals B12 plus B12 again times, that's an asterisk above the 8.1. That's 10%. And that would take us to $699 or 699.6 points. If we do that again, there's another way we can do this. We can do equals. Remember, all math problems begin with an equal sign. Equals, especially when we're doing by hand, the formulas. The equal gets popped in there for you if it's a math function. So we're going to take equals 68 points. What would an increase of 10% look like? A quicker, shorter way, or one maybe more familiar, is to equal. Take the total points times 1.1, like 110%. And that equals 74.8 points. Once you've got the formula the way you want it, either one would work. I'll show you this way. If you look at those answers, 423.5, 849.2. If I were to delete these and go with the previous method that I just used, you still get the same answers. Okay, so it can be C12 plus C12 times 0.1, D plus 12 plus D12 times 0.1, and so forth. E12 plus E12 times 0.1, or we can go back and do it this other way. I'm going to leave both examples for you to look at. So that's a quick and easy way to do just totally handwritten. Again, whenever possible, I go ahead and use a cell name rather than typing in all these numbers. That's where the mistakes take place. So let's stop with this section here. We'll go on with a little more information in our next section when we're working on formatting.